my name is Andrew Hochradel, and if you want to learn the basics of InDesign and make your first layout, stay tuned because that's what we're doing on this show today. Let's go ahead and hop in. The first thing that I want you to do is that I want you to join me. I want you to join me on this journey. We're going to be working together. So go down in the description and there is a link. That link will take you to a page. That page will have a file for you that looks like this. So when you click on that link in the bio, it will show up for you in this page. All you need to do is click right here and click on download. From there, it will download that file. And when you click on it, pew, 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 done, opened. So it will open it up in InDesign, and it is mapped out for you to be able to see the basics of Adobe InDesign. Now, let's talk real quick about what InDesign is for. InDesign is a program that is for layout. If you are making pamphlets, if you are making books, if you are making multi-page documents, you can do it all here in InDesign. Now, InDesign is mostly used for print work, but also could be used for digital work as well. InDesign is a lot like scrapbooking. Think about it that way. If you are trying to get into InDesign, think about it as scrapbooking. We're going to be making a lot of placeholders and then placing things into those placeholders across the board, right? So like some other Adobe programs where you're working with pixels and you're doing gradients and brushes and all that, InDesign is really for bringing all of that stuff together into one place to make a cohesive composition. So let's go ahead and hop in here and talk about what we see on our artboards. Sorry, not artboard, literally crossed out, page, what we see on our page. The first thing I want you to go is go up to Window. We're going to go to Workspace, and we're going to click on Essentials Classic. This will just get you into the same workspace that I am in, and it will make it so that it's a little bit easier for you to follow along. Next, what we want to do is we want to look across the way at all of the things in our working area. On the left here are our tools. I'll show you some of these tools and kind of point them out. We're not going to explore them all during this particular lesson, but we will be going over them in the future. So we have all of our tools over here. As we go down, this is our stroke and fill. Now, this is very common in almost every Adobe program. The stroke is on the front, that is the solid, and the fill is on the front. I said that backwards. It is the solid, and the stroke is in the back, and it is the outline. So fill is the color inside something. Stroke is the color around something, if you're putting something around it. So as we continue around here, this is called the margin. Actually, let's wait, and we'll come back to the page in a second. Let's look at our resources. So these are the resources and the different things that we can use to build out our document to kind of create a cohesive look on an element. So we have pages, layers, links, and then we have all of our strokes and colors over here as well. Up here, we have our tool options, and these options will actually change depending on what's selected. So right now I have the selection tool. This is a very special thing that you'll need to know in InDesign. It is the tool that you'll use the most. It just is going to move stuff around. So there is a black one and one that is filled in white. So the white one is the direct selection tool. Let me go ahead and show you the difference between these two tools. I'm going to hit Z to use the zoom button and click in here to this object. So I'm going to use the selection tool, the black arrow, and I'm going to click and drag, and you can see that it moves the entire shape, the entire path that's there. I can hit Control Z and that will undo that. And I can use the direct selection tool, which is the white arrow, and you can see here that there's all kinds of little dots. If I click and drag on one of those little dots, it will only move that one. So the selection tool moves the entire object. The direct selection tool will just move one of the points of that object. All right, so let's look at what we have here. We can just double click on this hand tool to resize. We have our page, and it's not an artboard. We have artboards in other programs. This is a page because it is going to be on a document. Down here, this purple line we have is a margin. That just helps set us up so that everything stays cohesive and tight in the way that we want to do. So let's go ahead and set up our first document in InDesign. For all you beginners out there, we are going to go up to File and go to New. Now, the great thing about this is I'm going to go ahead and close these, and you'll see our homepage here is it has all of our recent documents, but it also has something that is right here, the letter. So we can look at these sizes, and we're going to go ahead and click on letter because that's what we want to work on. And boom, we have opened up a document. It has created it for us. If we wanted to do that custom, we could go to File, New Document, and then fill out these settings. If we want inches, you can do all of these different sizes. There are all kinds of presets that are there for you for whatever you need to know. And if you want to change those margins like we talked about, you can change those margins by changing the numbers right there. So this is our document, and I'm going to start showing you how to kind of create things in InDesign. Again, everything here is placeholders. So we want to learn how to create shapes to put things into. So the first thing I'm going to do is over here, I'm going to grab the rectangle tool. The hotkey is just M, but we can click on rectangle, and we're going to make a nice little header up here. With the rectangle tool selected, we are just going to click and drag so that we have a nice little header all the way to the edges. So when we release that, it is going to make a rectangle, but there's a problem. And that problem is that there is nothing in this rectangle. There's no color. And you saw when we talked about tool options up at the top, if we don't have anything selected, you'll see that there's options that are a little different. When I select this, it's telling us what the size of this shape is, as well as the scaling. And we can come in here and change the color, which is what we want to do. So I'm going to change the fill color. All I need to do is click on this arrow next to it, and I can choose any of the swatches that are on this document. Now, if I wanted to make it a different color, with it selected, I could come over here to the fill and double click. Click, click. And I can fill this in with a nice blue. You can click and drag around to find the color that suits you best. I like this blue, and so we're going to hit OK. And you'll see now that this shape is filled with the blue, and our fill color has changed over here on our notes. Now, I want to go ahead and add an image as well. So let's go ahead and add an image, and we're going to use something called a placeholder. So what we're going to do is right underneath the rectangular frame tool is the right underneath the rectangle tool is the rectangle frame tool. And frames are used as placeholders. So I know that I want to put a picture in here. So I'm going to click and then click and drag out from the edge. And instead of being a filled shape, it's going to have this X through it. And this is very important in design, is that anywhere there is an X, it means that you're going to put something into that shape. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to place both a stock image and your own image. With this selected, what we can do is we can come up here and we can go to we can go to File and Place. Going to File Place is going to give us some options. So we're going to go in here and we're going to go to File Place, and I have some images that I found. And when I double click on one of these images, we'll be able to place that image inside of the frame. So when I hit open, boom, it has placed that image inside the frame. Now you're saying, Andrew, this doesn't look good. It's not zoomed in right. It's not scaled. That's totally fine. What we can do is we can actually right click on this image, and it's going to give us all kinds of options. So here's my disclaimer and charge to you. As I teach you things, don't follow along. I know that sounds backwards, but as I show you things, get lost in the menus. Click all of the things, discover for yourself, and that's the best way to learn these programs, is to just try stuff and see what happens. So we select the image and right click, and then we can come down here to fitting. And there are all kinds of fitting options. We can do content aware fit, where it's basically going to fit the content into the shape by analyzing what's there. And you can see now that it has framed the people into the shape, right? Super helpful. Now, if I wanted to move this around or scale it, I can't click and drag because right now I'm moving the frame, right? I'm moving that placeholder. What I can do is grab the direct selection tool, right? This is why I showed you earlier. Selection tool moves the frame. The direct selection tool, if I click on here, you'll see that it turns orange. And what it's doing is it is directly selecting the image instead of the frame. So we can click and drag this around, and you can see that it moves within that frame. We also can grab these little nodes on the sides and click and drag holding shift to scale this up if we wanted to, or move it around for the perfect composition. Almost all of the time, you'll be able to select it, right click, and go to content aware fit. It will analyze and fit that image for you perfectly. Super easy. All right, I'm going to show you one more way to do that, and let's go ahead and go into creating an image in a circle. So let's say instead of just using the placeholder rectangular frame tool, we want to put an image into a circle, like a headshot or something, and let's do it just in the bottom corner. So I'm holding space here to grab the hand tool, and as I hold space, it's going to click and drag that artboard around. Sorry, I keep saying artboard, that page around. We're going to click and hold on the rectangle tool and go to the ellipse tool right here. So from there, I'm going to go to this edge and I'm going to click and drag with the ellipse tool. And you can see it's making an ellipse. It's an oval. We want it to be a circle. And so to make it a perfect circle, we're going to hold shift, and shift will lock it in to be a perfect circle right there. And then when we let go, boom, we have a perfect circle. And again, there is no fill and no stroke on this, which is what we want because we're going to be putting an image inside it. So with this circular image, I'm going to show you a great integration that InDesign has that will speed up your workflow a whole lot. With this shape selected, up in the top right corner, we have Adobe Stock. And we can just type in what we're searching for. So I'm going to type in headshot and hit enter. It's going to open up, hold on. There we go. Okay. It did the right thing. I was a little nervous. So it is going to open up the Adobe Stock images right here. And let's say that I want to use this image right here. Actually, let's use one with a different colored background. This one looks good. So we can download a preview, we can find similar, or we can save to a library. What I want to do is I'm going to go ahead and download a preview. So it's going to download that for me, and I can come right back into InDesign, and it's going to be very, very quick and easy to select this. And just like we did before, we are going to go to File, we are going to go to Place, and then we're going to go into our downloads and select that headshot image right there. It will place that in there. We can right click, go to Content Aware Fit, Fitting, and Content Aware Fit. And boom, it's going to find that frame, and it's not quite what I want. So I'm going to grab that direct selection tool, click, and then just drag holding shift to move this around so that the face is sitting right there. Perfect. Looking good. All right, the next thing I want to do is I want to add a headline. And InDesign, again, is really great for creating those boxes. And when you're working with type in InDesign, you want to remember everything exists in a box. So I'm going to grab my type tool, which is just T, or the type tool right over here. And I want to kind of just click to create type. You can't do that. You can do that in some other programs. We need to create a box for it. So we're going to click and drag to create a box for our type, right? A text box. So we're going to type in here and we're going to say, welcome to InDesign. From here, we can grab our selection tool and drag this to where we want it. I want to line it up on this little edge right there. Looks good to me. And then we have all kinds of settings up top. So these settings are different depending on the tool, right? They're tool settings. So we can click and change the settings on the actual bounding box. But if we click on the T, which is the type tool, we're able to change the formatting of the type inside this box, right? So again, the tools change depend on what's selected, and depending on what tool you have, the options will shift. So I'm going to change this to a different font. We're just going to use Trade Gothic because I love that font. And then we're going to change the color here. So what we can do is we can actually come over to our swatches, which is in this panel to the right. And you see here that this is the formatting of the container, or we can click on the T and format the text. And then we can change that text to white. If we did it on the container, it is going to turn the entire container color, and we do not want that. We just want to click on the T to change the type. So from here, I don't have to go in and select anything. I can literally just go up to my options and hold shift and hit up, and it's going to scale that type up for me. So that's looking pretty good. Maybe we want it a little bit bigger. I'm going to move it to the side there. So again, we can't change the size unless we have the type tool selected with that. So we have type tool selected, and we are going to change the size, and we're also going to change the leading, which is the distance between lines. So that looks pretty good to me. I'm not mad about this. This is looking pretty good. We're doing well here. Now, the next thing that I want to show you is maybe you want to format something and you don't have your content yet, right? We're making a flyer or a brochure and we don't have the content. What we can do is we can go ahead and grab the type tool and we can click and drag out a text box. So right here, this is the text box that we want, and we let go and nothing's happened. Check this out. What we can do is we could actually set our fonts before anything goes in there. We're not going to do it, but we could. But we're going to go to type, and we are going to go to fill with placeholder type. Edit. Oh, Andrew's lost it. Chat. Also, this is a live show. Hi, this is a live stream. If you're watching the replay, thanks for watching. This is a live stream. Live stream, I need your help. Where is fill with placeholder text? It is definitely an option, and it is totally throwing me off. Object. Oh no, y'all. This is bad news. Wait for it. Is it over here? My brain is farting. This is how you know that it's a live show, is that sometimes the person who's instructing you completely loses their brain and forgets where something is. Oh my goodness. How is this happening? I'm so sorry, everyone. Type. Oh, please help me, chat. Object. All right. Well, there's a way to fill with placeholder text, and I'm so sorry. We'll go on, and then we'll come back to this. So you can fill it with placeholder text, or you could even go to a website like Lorem Ipsum, which is a great resource for being able to grab just type. All right. So people are saying that it is in the type panel. Did I just not see it? There it is. Fill with placeholder text. Thank you. So right here with the text box selected, fill with placeholder text, and check that out. It will fill it in so that we can format it and see how everything looks. So that looks great to me, but let's say that I actually want this to be a little bit separate. So I'm going to change the size of this text box, and I want to have a little divider. So I'm going to put in a little shape here. That might be a color or might just be, a random divider. And I'm doing this so I can show you how you can kind of change and link things in InDesign. So I'm just going to grab that color. And let's say that I wanted this text to continue inside this box, but I need it to be a different color. So let's see what happens here. What I want to do is I want to make another text box, and I'm going to click and drag it and make sure that it scales into the size that I want here. These need to not be blue because you can't see. Contrast. There we go. So you can click and drag and make sure that this is the size that I want it to be in that space. Now, the content from this box, I want to go into this box. And what we can do is with this selected, if we zoom in here, you can see there's a nice little plus. So this little red plus means, hey, danger, there is text that is being overlaid or being cut off in this text box, right? Again, InDesign is only placeholders. And so this placeholder size does not fit all the content. So it's telling me, hey, there's an issue here. The placeholder's not fitting the content. So we can click on this and you see that InDesign picks up all that extra content. You can see all that paragraph that's on my cursor now. It's basically picked up that extra content. And I can say, hey, go ahead and take that content and link it to this text box here. Now, again, there is still more content. So I can click again on this plus and then click over here and it will make a new one. I also could click and drag and say, hey, put this content into that new space. Now what's great is if I need to go in here and make a change, let's say that we had a typo, I can double click and then just drag and select and hit delete and watch what happens. It's going to move that text across all of those text boxes. They are linked together so that any change that you make is going to make a change to all of those pieces. So if I wanted to change all this type, I can hit Control A to select all, and you'll see that it's going to select literally all of these pages. And let's do something fun here. Check this out. Let's go ahead and make another page by going to our pages and then clicking on plus. So this is a great way to make documents, to make multiple pages. But what we're going to do is I'm going to zoom out and we are going to drag one of these text boxes over to the other page, right? So it's going to get really wonky. We're going to make this one so that it's tight and it goes all the way down here. And maybe we're going to copy and paste it all so that there's a lot of text. So you can see that we're just going to continue this over here. And now we have all of this crazy text in a bunch of different places. But watch what happens. We can come in here and we can hit T for type tool and hit Control A to select it all. And it has selected all of the type on both pages. So look at that. All of the type on both pages is selected. And I can change this to our trade Gothic that we're using right here. And that looks pretty good. We're gonna decrease the size a little bit and then increase maybe the leading. So the leading is the space between lines, and the kerning and tracking is right here. It's the space between letters or words. So yes, someone in our live chat is saying that InDesign is perfect for long documents. InDesign is amazing for long documents. So this is looking pretty good to me, and you can see the formatting carried it together all the way over here. I do want to maybe grab this header and put it on the other page. So I can hit Control C or go to Edit and Copy, and then come over to our other page. And if you try to paste by just looking at this page, right? So if we're working on this page and we copy this header, and then I just use the hand tool to scroll down to this page and I hit paste, it's going to paste it on that page. So it's going to paste it on whatever page is showing on your screen. So we'll click and drag to bring this up here. And I actually did a hotkey that I didn't tell you about. Hitting W. Hitting W will turn off everything that's outside your document, so you can see what the document is going to look like in final form. So a lot of times I'll have notes and extra content off to the sides, notes to myself, images, stuff that didn't make the cut will be hanging off the sides. If I hit W, it will take all that away so that I can see just what's going to export. When you export, it will only be the page. It will only be what's showing here on the page. So we're going to scroll down, and this looks terrible. So I'm going to go ahead and pull this up, and actually let's do the two up. So right here we have our type. I need to pull this up so it fits on the page. As we click and drag this up, boom, it has made all of the text over here. So I do want to show you something that someone said is down here, there is a red dot. The red dot means that there is an error, right? So if I'm working on a long document with a bunch of pages, I see this error, I can click and say, hey, where is this error? So I can go to the pre-fight panel, or you can do it the easy way and just double click on this error. Let's open the pre-flight panel. All right, so pre-flight panel opened. It did work when I double clicked, it just opened on a different screen. And it's telling me, hey, there's an error. There's a text error. Where is this text error? There's overset text, which means that there's too much text, and it's on page 2. You can click on this and it will take you to exactly where their error is and select it so that you can go in and say, oh no, I need to make this bigger. Great, now our content is good and we have a green light, go ahead. So always be looking for that red light and then double click and it will take you to exactly where the issue is. Now, the last thing that I want to show you is I want to go ahead and go to exporting. So we're going to go to File. We are going to go to Export. And from there, I'm going to put it, sure, we'll put it on the Exercising on a Budget document that I've been working on. Why not? And we'll title it My Layout. And from there, we can do all kinds of different options. So you can do interactivity, which is a little more advanced, but for now, we're just going to do print, Adobe PDF print. We're going to hit save, and then it's going to give us all these options. Here's what I want from you. Just pick this one. Pick high quality print and hit save. This is your first time. You don't need all these crazy settings. You can cover them. Look up other Adobe Live content. We're going to hit all pages, make sure that we have all those pages together, and then we're going to hit export. It is exporting, and then watch what happens. So we're going to open up our file viewer real quick. I'm going to find out where that went. It was in, I believe, exercise, we said. Oh, Andrew, where did you save this to? I'm going to export one more time and just put it on my desktop so that we can all see it really quickly. All right, so we're exporting, and I'm going to put it on my desktop. Story of my life, saving to a random location. All right, so we can open this up and check it out right here. Boom, we have our document. It is all in there. Look at this. We have our images, and you can see it does have the watermark on here because we downloaded that preview from Adobe Stock. And we have our 2-page document with our type on there. So that is how you work with InDesign for a beginner, a nice little beginner's guide. If you want to create your own thing. Again, all the links are in the description for you to get connected, for you to download this file and practice on your own. If you're just watching this video or you're just joining us for the live stream for the first time, we're doing a bootcamp this week that is all for beginners. We've covered Photoshop, Illustrator, today is InDesign, and then tomorrow we are going to be doing Adobe Express and then heading into Adobe Premiere Rush. So join me for all of those live streams, 11:30 a.m. Pacific time every day this week, or continue the playlist. Find those videos, search on the Creative Cloud YouTube channel or the Adobe Live YouTube channel. So thanks so much for hanging out with me. As always, I'm Andrew Hochradel. I'm your host. I'm your guide. I'll help you with whatever you need to know. Go and hit I almost landed it. Sorry. Go hit that subscribe button on the Adobe Live channel, and I'll see you all for another lesson. And stay tuned for more content on that's it. I tried, y'all. We flubbed the landing. That's all right. Y'all are great. Stay tuned. Watch more content. Say hi in chat. Leave some burger emojis. I'm hungry. Bye.